Right. So we'll start the session. I think we have to start from transition economics. Right here, this is a session that we have to start. Right. This is the session that we have to start. Let's start from transition economics. Last week we did up to mixed economic system and we discussed about that, and we discussed how government involved to the market systems or market economies and firms, business firms and household. That was the last one we discussed in from this tutorial in last week. So today that we have to start from this point, it is transition economies, right? So what is a transition economy? We'll see. I will explain it initially, and then we'll discuss the tutorial. Right. So here, what is a transition economy? Today's topic is transition economy. Transition economy. Usually, a transition economy is whatever the economic system which is transferring to another economic system, right? So here a transition economy means an economy initially it was another economic system, right? Now it is transferring to another economic system. That being original economic system will be changed after the transferring process. That will happen here. Original economy, right? Initially it was another economic system, but after the transition process, it is now transferring to another economic system. So that's what we call transition economy. It is getting transferring from one to another. That is the transition economy. So here, most of the time, right, in transition economy, initial economic system was command economy. Initial, but this do not have to necessary a command economy, but anyhow, most of transferring economies are transferring command economies from command economies. Here, command economy. Initially, it was originally a command economy, right? But now, what will happen? It is transferring to market, maybe a market economy or maybe a mixed economy. Mixed economy, right? So that is what a transition economy is, which is originally a command economy, or we call alternatively central planning economy. That's a similar word to command economy. So here, initially, originally it was a command economy. Now it is transferring its functions or features to, it is transferring its function and features either market. It may be either market or mixed economy, right? So this is what transition economy means. Again, a transition economy is a originally it was another economy, and after the changing process, it may be transferred to one another economy, right? Anyhow, if there are two economies, that means initially it was economic system 1 and it was transferring to economic system 2. So any economy transferring one to another, we can identify transition economy. But most of the time, it is command economy. Initially, it was command economy, and now it is transferring to market. It may be a market or it may be a mixed. So usually we can elaborate, define this transition economy as economies which were in command economic system and transferring or changing their economic system either market economy, right? Either market economy or mixed economy. Why either market or mixed? The reason is initially it was command, it cannot be transferred to market economy at once. At once it can't be transferred for the market economy. So it may be either market or mixed economy, right? So any economy which was a command economy, and after the transferring process, it's getting to transfer market or mixed economy, we can identify a transferring economy, right? A transferring economy. So here, that is the initial one. Actually, why this? Why there is a why the economic systems are getting transferred? Why these transition economies are exist? Because most of the time, this command economy has its own disadvantages. There are its own disadvantages. And they can see advantages of the market economy. Advantages of the market economy. And now it wants to transfer from, it wants to achieve these advantages of the market economy. So now, what does he do? What does those economies do? They need to eliminate. They need to eliminate these disadvantages, and they need to grab those advantages. Now it's getting transfer from command economy to market economy to eliminate, to avoid these disadvantages which were exist in command economy, to gain advantages of the market economy. So that is what a transition economy means. We'll see, we'll read the tutorial and then you can take a good right. Right here, the note, right here, the tutorial, transition economies. Countries that are in the process of moving from centrally planned or command economy to a free market or mixed economies, right? So again, what are the transition economies? Countries that were originally in central planned economy, but now that are in the process of moving from centrally planned economy to a free market or mixed economies. So we can identify those economies are transition economies. When it comes to transition economies, what do they do, right? How we can identify this economy is in a transferring process. How we can identify? We can identify those through following features. These are the features, right? First one. So here first one is trade barriers will be removed. Free imports and exports. What was the meaning of that? Trade barriers. That means import export restrictions will be removed. So it is initially it was a planning economy, right? Or we call it command economy. When it comes to command economy, there are so many trade barriers, right? Maybe imports and exports could not be there, right? Initially, it was restricted, but now it is transferring to a market economy. When it transferring to a market economy, those trade barriers should be eliminated. Trade barriers will be removed and free imports and exports and imports can done freely, right? So that is a one feature of the transition economy. Second one, what is the next one? Privatization of the government properties and government entrepreneurs, right? Government entrepreneurs are, there are government enterprises and those government businesses are transferring to private sector. That is the next one, right? Privatization of government enterprises or government properties. You can identify that as the second feature. Trade barriers will be removed. initial trade barriers will be removed. That means initially it was restricted. Trade, open trade was restricted, right? That means imports and export. But when it becomes to a market economy, so it is eliminating those restrictions and it becomes more open to the world. That means free market economy. So import and export restriction should be avoided, right? Next one. Third one is economic liberalization. What does mean liberalization? It means now economies give more freedom to the more economic freedom to the economic agents. Freedom. It means economic freedom and freedom of choice. Freedom of choice. Now, those economies are having more freedom and there are freedom of choice. Choice can be done with freely, right? Free market economy. So economic liberalization, that means economic agents can make their own decision according to their preference. Actually, it is a feature of market economy, free market economy, because we know free market economy, it was freedom, economic freedom was there, freedom of choice was there, right? That means economic agents can make their decision according to their preference, according to their willingness. But it was not in the command economy. Command economy ke එක තිබ්බේ නැහැ. Now it is transferring. It is transferring initial economic systems are getting transferring to another. So command economy is transferring to market economy. Now it getting more liberalization, more freedom, right? Next one. Reduction in government subsidies. In command economies, a main feature is providing subsidies to the public, because we know in the command economy they are a little bit poor, right? Actually, they do not have comfortable life. Some of the employees, government employees, were poor people. And now what will happen? Initially in a command economy, since they are not having a quality of life, that government was help all of the community, right? Government helps to all the community to achieve what? To achieve their basic human needs, because we know in a command economy, actually with the help of government, all the families have equity, right? That means minimum income disparity. But when it comes to market economy, that previously in command economy they were subsidizing the people. ඒගොල්ලෝ සහනාධාර දුන්න මිනිස්සුන්ට, right? So government was subsidizing for the people. But when it transferring to market economy, those subsidies, transfers, that mean one party transfers, නිකන් දුන්න සල්ලි, pension, they will eliminate it, right? Previously, so what were the features that we discussed already? First one, trade barriers will be removed. Trade barriers will be removed. And second one, there was economic freedom. And one more, other than that, what was there? Privatization, reduction in subsidies, right? Privatization was there. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means these firms, right? Government firms will be transferred to public sector. Government firms, that mean public firms, will be transferred to private sector. That is the privatization. Most of government business will be transferring to private sector. And also economic freedom was there. Economic freedom, that means the freedom of choice and economic freedom. Previously, the economy was restricted. Right, 1 minute. Right. So initially freedom was restricted, but now those economies have more freedom to household, to consumers, to factory owners, to business firms. And those trade barriers will be removed. Trade barriers will be removed. And also privatization. What does privatization mean? Public entrepreneurs, public businesses are transferring to private sector. And the fourth one was what is the fourth one? It is reduction in government subsidies and safeguard private property rights. What is reduction in government subsidies? Because in command economy, government involvement was high. Government was transferring subsidies to the people. But now government will remove those subsidies. Remove subsidies to private sector, to household. Government will remove subsidies to household. And number fifth one was the last one. Safeguard private property rights. Safeguard private property rights. What does that mean? What's the meaning of safeguard of private property rights? Actually, initially, the property was belong to whom? Initially, the property was belong to private sector, private property. But those private properties, initially it was command economy, no? So the public properties, right? Initially in a command economy, properties are public, government. Properties are belong to who? Government. Government properties were there. right? But now what will happen? Now what will happen? Those properties are transferring to private sector because under the privatization, we know most of properties are transferring to private sector, right? Most of properties are transferring to private sectors. Now properties are belong to private sector, right? Now the thing is here public properties are transferring to private sector. As a result of that, now government needs to ensure the property right. Previously, all the properties were belong to government. No need to ensure property rights because all the people know who belongs to the property or who properties are belong to who? Government. So no need to worry about that. Every property was belong to government. But when it comes to market economy, properties are belong to private sector. Now, what do we need? Ensure property rights. Ensure property right. Right? It need to ensure property rights. So, what will happen? Those properties need to ensure this belong to this person. The property right කාටද මේවා අයිති කියන එක මෙන්ෂන් කරන්න ඕනේ. හරිද? එහෙනම් අපි බලමු. Right. Reduction in government subsidies නිකන් දෙන දේවල් government එකෙන් පිනට දෙන දේවල් අයින් කරනවා. And safeguard private property rights. Private property rights will be safeguard here. So that is a transition economy. Now you have a good idea about the transition economy. What was it again? Countries which are in the process of moving from certain central planned economy to a free market or mixed economies can be identified as transition economies. And these are the few features. What are the features again? Trade barriers will be removed, privatization of government properties, economic liberalization or economic freedom, reduction in government subsidies, and safeguard private property rights. That means ensure the private property right, right? Ensure the private property rights. Problems. When it comes to a transfer, actually when the transferring economy, when the economy is getting transferred, what are the problems that arise, right? What are the problems? We'll see. Right. You can see them on the tutorial. Right. Problems. Now, actually, these economic systems are transferring one to another. Right. These economic systems are transferring one to another. No. So, when it is getting transferring from one to another, there is a problem. What? We have to adapt for a change. So we have to adapt for a change. අපිට එක පාටම ළමයි වෙනස් වෙන්න අමාරුයිනේ ඕනම දෙයකදී අපිට එකපාර වෙනස් වෙන්න අමාරුයි. ඒ නිසා අපිට සිද්ධ වෙනවා ඒ අලුත් වෙනසට පුරුදු වෙන්න. So what is the first problem? Problem of problems which have to face problems faced by transitional economy. Right? Problems faced by transitional economy. First one, initially the economic growth is very limited. Why? Because we know if we transfer our occupation ඔයාගේ job එක change කරනවා නම් ඔයා math stream එකේ ඉඳන් commerce stream එකට එකපාර change වෙනවා නම් right, when there is a change you can't achieve higher growth in new sector. So initially obviously the initial economic growth, initial මුලින් economic growth එක හරි අඩුයි. Initial economic growth is very limited. Initial limited economic growth or low economic growth, low economic growth at initial stage. That is the first one. Low economic growth at initial stage. And the second one, we know if it was a command economy, the prices were constant, right? Prices were not much fluctuated. But when it transferring to market economy, the prices determined based on demand and supply. Most of necessary goods, most of we call what we call necessary goods and essentials, right? Most of essentials of avashyam deval, right? Most of essential and necessary goods price getting increased because there is huge demand. So here high inflation of the country, of the economy. Inflation එකක් එන්න පුළුවන්. ඇයි? Because previously in a command economy the prices were controlled by government. Now there is no any government to control the prices. Now what will happen? The prices will getting increase again and again. So that means inflation, high inflation of the economy. Right? Third one, higher level of unemployment. Why unemployment is there? Because previously government provided job opportunities to the people. Government එකෙන් දෙනවා political connections වලට දේශපාලන පත්වීම්. එතනදී India, they are not much seeking about the qualification, right? They are not much concerning about qualification. They are concerning to reduce unemployment. Then they will grant job opportunities to everyone without considering qualifications. Now, when it comes to market economy, private sector, they do not do that. We don't do that here, the private sector will say. Then what do? They keep the people who are valid, who have much contribution for the business firm, they will keep them. But others, people who have less qualification, less qualified people who do not have skills, unskilled people, they will eliminate from the jobs. So unemployment will be created. Unemployment. can be created. Right? So that is the third one. Fourth one. Fourth one, income disparity. Right? Fourth one is income disparity. Why there is an income disparity? Why there is an income disparity? What is the reason? Because in a command economy, there was all the things were equal, right? Equity was there. But afterwards, it get into free market economy. Now, government will not provide any subsidies, pension schemes, aswasuma to people. Then the income disparity will increase. Then the income disparity will increase. So, higher income disparity or income disparity. Why it is creating income disparity? Because previously it was a command economy, right? Previously it was a command economy. We know a feature of command economy is equity or fair income distribution. But now what will be happen? Now those fair income distribution will be transferred to income disparity. Why? Command economy is getting transferred to market or mixed economy. When it comes to market or mixed economy, government will not provide any subsidies for the people. Now, what happened to the poor people? They do not have any backup, government backup anymore. So, income disparity arise, right? That will be happen. And the fifth one. And the fifth one is large deficit in foreign exchange, right? Balance of payment deficit. That means deficit, hingai, deficit in foreign exchange. Why? Why deficit in foreign exchange arise? Why deficit in balance of payment arise? What is the reason? Because initially, as you can see, what was the first feature? What was the first characteristic of a transition economy? It was actually reduce import restrictions, right? Trade barriers will be removed. That was the first feature, right? And now what will happen? Now what will happen here? Trade barriers will remove. When trade barriers will removed, they import more and more because it was a command economy. They were not ready to export goods, right? Because they do not have goods to export. Export karana deval nahi. But they are import more and more. When they import more and more, they have to pay dollars, right? But because lack of exports, they do not have much dollar reserves. And now what will happen? The dollar outflow is higher than dollar inflow, right? That means foreign exchange inflow is less than foreign exchange outflow. Inflow රට ඇතුළට එන foreign exchange එක අඩුයි, outflow එක වැඩි. Outflow is higher. Right now what will happen? Foreign exchange deficit will arise. There's a foreign exchange deficit will arise. So that is the thing, right? Okay. Those are the problems faced by transitional economies. What was the first one? Low economic growth at initial stage. Second one, high inflation of the economy. Third one, unemployment can be created. Fourth one, income disparity. And fifth one, deficit in foreign exchange. Got it? Right. We'll see the tutorial. Here. Problems encountered by transitional economy. Low economic growth at the beginning, high inflation, high unemployment, higher income disparity and inequality, large deficit in trade account, right? Large deficit in trade account mean foreign exchange. Right? Those are the problems. I think you got them. Now, new trends and types of mixed economies. So what are the new trends and types of mixed economies? We'll see. So first one is